We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Will everyone please rise? And Ms. Estime Irving, would you lead us in the pledge, please?
Pleasure. I pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. You see my little one back there? All right. May we have a roll call, please?
Yes, Chair. Rosaline Philippe,
Here.
Holly Cohen, Michael McDermott,
Present.
Cassandra Thurman,
here.
Dana McGlora Finland,
Here.
Peggy Boulay, Mary Estime Irving.
Present.
Chair, you have a quorum.
Thank you so much. And Brittany, would you do the announcement to the audience, please, with the process? Oh, sorry. Yeah, help him out.
All right. These items may be either approved, denied, or approved with condition as they are quasi judicial items. Please be advised that the following items on the agenda are quasi judicial in nature. The applicant or duly authorized agent for the applicant must be present. If no representative is present, the application will be tabled to the next Board of Adjustment meeting. When the petition is announced, the applicant or his or her agent shall approach the microphone and state his or her name and address for the record. Any interested party wishing to speak on any item may approach the podium after the board has opened the public hearing. Each party shall approach the microphone and state his or her name and address for the record, and shall address his or her comments to the board. Each party shall speak for not more than 3 minutes in order to provide for order and time for other interested parties to address their concerns or comments to the board.
Thank you. And being that it is quasi judicial, anyone who will speak on any item, whether for or against it tonight, need to take the oath, which will be administered by our attorney. So if you're going to speak on anything, if you have something to say, stand up and raise your right hand.
So, attorneys do not need to be sworn.
Your mic needs to be on.
Are any other applicants here who will be addressing the board? No? Okay, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in these proceedings?
Yes.
Yes? Thank you.
Is your mic on? Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Any amendments to the agenda? No. Okay. Can we have approval of the minutes from December, I'm sorry, go ahead. Minutes to December 21st, 2016?
So moved.
A second? Seconded by Ms. Fenelon. All those in favor? Aye. All right. Any opposed? Okay, we'll move forward. And continued petitions, we have none, so we'll start with the new petition, which is V-01-17 HACDC, multifamily, 1535 Northeast 128th Street. The applicant present?
Yes.
Okay. And who'll give us the background?
Okay. A variance to Article 5, Division 14, Section 51408B1 of the North Miami Code of Ordinances, Chapter 29 Land Development Regulations to allow forward and reverse or backup movement in connection with a multifamily development where said movement is only permitted with single-family residences. Said variance to be reviewed under criteria set forth in Article 3, Division 6, Section 3606 of the Land Development Regulations. The subject property is a vacant parcel composed of 8,375 square feet located on the north side of Northeast 128th Street, east of Arch Creek Road and west of Northeast 16th Avenue. The subject property, this project with the HACDC, is a joint project with the city of North Miami. So the surrounding properties to this specific ones are mostly single family. It's zoned and its land use is designated high density residential and intended for multifamily residential structures. As per Article 5, Division 14, 51409B1, it's to allow a proposed multifamily development for forward and reverse backout parking in a local residential street where said movements are only permitted for single-family residences. Upon reviewing the variance request, it is found to meet at least 4 of the 6 criteria set forth in Article 3, Division 6, Section 3606. The requested variance maintains the basic intent and purpose of the subject regulations. The stability nor the appearance of the neighborhood would not be affected. So the literal interpretation of the provisions of the LDRs deprives the applicant of rights commonly enjoyed by other property in this area because the LDRs specifically state that backout parking is only permissible for single-family residents, whereas the proposed development is multifamily. The requested variance for backout movement is arguably a minimal variance, which will allow the applicant to ingress and egress the residences as necessary for any residential development. The proposed requested variance is in harmony with the general intent of the neighborhood and maintains the basic intent and purpose of the subject regulations, particularly as it affects the stability and appearance of the city. Given the foregoing, the applicant's request conforms with the goals, objectives, and policies of the city's comprehensive plan, as it will neither alter the property as a multifamily use nor affect the neighborhood's character and its surroundings. Therefore, the recommendation is made to approve the requested variance.
Thank you. And you are the attorney? Anything else you'd like to add?
Daniel Goldberg, Bills and Sundberg, offices at 1450 Brickell Avenue. We're the pro bono counsel to the Little Haiti Housing Association. I'm happy to make a full presentation to the board, but I'm very mindful of your time, that you have other items on the agenda, and so I'm happy to rest on staff's very favorable recommendation, and I'm available to answer any questions you might have, or I can go into the full presentation should you so choose.
Okay, thank you. I know Ms. Irvin said you didn't see a presentation, not to this board, probably.
I'm sorry?
No, you said you made a presentation?
No, I'm saying I'm happy to make a full
okay.
presentation, but mindful of your time, and
Okay.
if you
No,
would-
we have the plans, we can see.
Okay.
Okay. With that said, we will open the floor to public, my goodness, a senior moment, public input. Okay, anyone for or against? Come on up, come on up. Come up to the mic.
When you say multifamily.
Sir, you need to state your name
State
and
name and
address.
address.
Thank you.
Don Bauman, 2700 Northeast 135th Street, North Miami, Florida 33181. Just curious, about the presentation. How many units is it multifamily?
We're, if I may through the chair, we're proposing only 3 units.
Okay.
Thank you. Board discussion? Did you take the oath? No. Okay, then he's got to, you gotta take it.
Okay. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this proceeding? Use the
Name and
microphone,
address.
state your name.
My name is Alan McHenry. I'm at 1525 Northeast 128th Street. I'm next door to the property in question. And not having seen the plans, I'd like to hear it from the horse's mouth. How many levels is this building intended to be?
As I recall, I think from the plans it shows 2 stories.
Okay. What are their options if this isn't granted? This parking variance?
I'm not sure.
Do you have
I'm not sure the board would
alternate
like me to address.
plans?
I'm sorry?
Do you have alternate plans if this variance?
the board would like me to address that, we don't have any alternate plans at this time. You know, we intend to develop this as affordable housing, and if we're not able to get this variance, it would make it very difficult to build this. We're just trying to build in accordance with what's in the neighborhood already. The single-family homes and the multi-family development to the north part of the neighborhood all have back-out parking. We just are asking to be treated in a similar fashion.
Well, part of the comments made by, read by Mr. Doria is that it meets the, I don't remember the exact words, but it meets the standard of the rest of the street, which is not true. Those are all single-family residents along that street. And there's no two-story buildings along that street. So I don't know how it meets that part of the criteria.
If I may, we're not here talking about design at all in that respect. This neighborhood, despite the fact that it is developed as single family, is zoned R6. It's the city's most intense residential zoning district. It calls for multifamily, and that's not really before this board. That's just what the zoning is. The only item before this board today is a variance to allow direct back-out parking from the property onto the right-of-way. It's really a very limited request.
The reason I raised the question is I haven't seen the plans. That's why I asked. People from the city are telling me it's one story. So I'm trying to get the truth, that's
There's
all.
a plan. Do you guys have a copy?
Sir, only one person can deal with this at a time. Thank you.
Where's the lot layout? So it's like this.
No, that's the existing
Right,
structure.
but that's the property.
That's the
This is the street. I don't have any more questions, thank you.
Thank you. All right. Is that it? Anyone else? Board discussion. Well, I'm sorry, I'll close public hearing. Board discussion?
Well, I can tell you that, is it on, I believe?
Yeah.
I can tell you that I do have a little bit of exposure to, this is under Little Haiti Housing, correct?
Yes, this is Little Haiti Housing.
Okay.
yes.
I've seen some of the work in the past that Little Haiti Housing has done, and they do very good work. So to the gentleman that came up here, I would think that if you were going to have it, the R6 was redesignated, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, staff, under the new LDRs to intensify development in North Miami. And correct? Am I correct? Okay, that's just a stab on my part, but I, in any regards, it is R6. And as I say, if you're going to have redevelopment in your neighborhood of this kind of project, the prior work that Little Haiti Housing has done has shown they did good work and are very conscious of the neighbors that surround them. So, I would obviously be in favor of, following staff's recommendation.
Okay. Thank you. Anyone else?
As a matter of fact, if there's no discussion, I'd like to make a motion to that
Oh.
effect.
I just,
I'll take your own.
Okay, well, he's got a motion. Do we have a second? We can continue the discussion once we get a second. Yes or no? Okay, I'll second your motion.
Okay.
Okay, discussion,
okay,
further discussion.
thank you. I'm just, because I haven't been on the board for a minute, and I've probably forgot a couple.
It's not on.
Okay, so it is on. I don't
Oh,
know
it
if the
is?
mic levels are low. Can you hear me?
There you go.
I can eat the mic, basically.
There you go.
Do they have an opportunity to speak to the residents before they do this?
That's an optional
That's an optional?
decision that each applicant makes on its own.
No, when you say residents, Ms. Irvin, who are you?
The
residents-
neighbors.
The neighbors,
Yes.
correct.
Oh, yeah, they're
Correct, the
they're
neighbors
noticed,
that are,
they're noticed.
right, okay. Because I heard a couple of concerns, and I just want to make sure.
Right.
And Madam Chair, I know that maybe people are familiar with this, I'm not. I would love to see the presentation. There are a couple of residents that mentioned that they had not seen, or, or some visual. I think you have a visual presentation of what?
Yeah, I have a handout of a map of the neighborhood. I actually was more prepared to talk about the variance and not the site plan. Since that's really not before the board, it's really just the parking, but I'm happy to make the full presentation. if
Is
the
this
board
what
would
we
like.
have?
Yes, you have the survey as well as a site plan, and I have here maps of the neighborhood. I'm happy to go into the full presentation if you'd like.
The plans are also available online on the city's website.
And the variance is only for parking?
For parking.
Correct?
It's actually,
The reverse and back of parking
Reverse.
is the only thing that's
That's the
there.
only thing at discussion.
That's the only variance that they're requesting.
And if you look at their plan where the parking is indicated, they have 4 slots in addition to 1
Handicap.
handicap parking. So they're asking that they're able to back out of there into the street.
it's just the layout of the parking, not the number of spaces, correct?
Right.
Okay.
Yeah, that's correct. This is otherwise a by right project. We're here just on the variance, not on the design. Everything else is proceeding, as far as we could tell, is by right. We're asking only for one discrete item, which is the parking itself.
Right, that's the only item before
Okay.
us.
Correct.
Thank you. That's
So-
all my concern.
No discussion.
No further discussion. Okay, we have a motion and a second. Roll call, please. And for you guys to remember, the motion was to approve, correct, Mr. McDermott?
Yes.
Okay.
Roll call for vote. Dana, McLaura-Fenelon,
I approve.
Mary Esteman Irvin,
Yes.
Rosaline Philippe,
Yes?
Cassandra Thurman,
Yes.
Michael McDermott,
Yes.
Thank you all very much.
Good luck. Yeah, you can have mine. Okay. Now, our second item is V-02-17, Lily Childcare, 13263 Northwest 7th Avenue. Is the applicant here?
My name is Fritz Jin. I'm for
You
Lily
don't look like
Childcare.
Lily.
Okay. A special exception use pursuant to Article 4, Division 2, Section 4202 of the North Miami Code of Ordinances, Chapter 29 Land Development Regulations, to allow a proposed child care facility at the property located at 13263 Northwest 7th Avenue in the C1 District. Said special exception is to be reviewed under criteria set forth in Article 3, Division 5, Section 3504 of the Land Development Regulations. The proposed childcare center is to be located within an existing location as a developed commercial parcel located along Northwest 7th Avenue between Northwest 132nd Street and Northwest 133rd Street. Pursuant to Article 4, Division 2, Section 4202, said criteria given in Article 5, Division 1, Section 5105 of the Land Development Regulation, uses involving childcare services in the C1 Commercial District require special exception approval by the Board of Adjustment. As such, the applicant has filed this petition to seek approval from the BOA to operate the proposed childcare center. A search of the city's zoning records show there's been one previous zoning approval on the property in October of 2009, a special exception filed for Melanie Davis, also for a childcare center, and was approved. In evaluating the application for this request, the BOA shall find the application demonstrates compliance with the standards of Article 3, Division 5, Section 3504. The uses permitted chart provided in Article 5, Division 2, Section 4202 of the LDRs, lists the child care center as one of the uses requiring a special exception approval within the C1 commercial district. According to the submitted plans, access to the site consists of one existing full movement driveway along Northwest 7th Avenue. This driveway can safely provide for two-way circulation. Therefore, the proposed use will have a de minimis impact on traffic circulation on the adjacent public streets and will not have any adverse impact on public safety due to unsafe traffic movements or increased risk of fire. As per Article 5, Division 14, Section 51402 of the LDRs, the child care center shall provide one parking space for every 200 square feet of gross floor area. With a gross floor area of 1,000 square feet, the proposed child care center requires 5 parking spaces. The shopping center's parking lot can accommodate 48 at-grade parking spaces. As such, the child care facility will provide adequate parking for the anticipated number of employees and users of the facility, including area for the pickup and drop-off of the children. As basic public services, public water, sewers, police, and fire protection are readily available. And childcare uses are not uses prohibited within the C1 commercial district. As with any special exception use, such uses are deemed to be generally not suitable for location in this district, but may be permitted on a case-by-case basis after review and possible attachment of conditions by the Board of Adjustment. Pursuant to the procedures and criteria of Article 3, Division 5, Section 3504 of the LDRs. The proposed child care facility will have a de minimis impact on public services and will be compatible with other retail uses operating within the shopping center. As such, the requested special exception clearly constitutes an appropriate use for the site, and given the sheer number of parking spaces provided on site, will neither injure nor detract from the use of the surrounding tenants. Article 5, Division 1, Section 5105 of the city's LDRs provides criteria for the establishment of childcare uses. A detailed site plan, floor plan, and survey was submitted for its analysis. The classroom sizes were also provided. A total of approximately 549 square feet of floor space is being used as classrooms. 35 square feet is necessary for each child, which allows the facility to accommodate a maximum of 15 children for enrollment. The minimum standards for outdoor recreation playground play areas are established based on subsection C of Section 5105. 45 square feet would be required for half of the children permitted for enrollment as per the previous standard. 15 pupils would be permissible for the childcare establishment. Half would be approximately 7 students, which would require 315 square feet of playground play area. 451 square feet is being provided. Auto stacking space is being provided, and there's no body of water abutting the property at which the childcare facility intends to open. There are no outdoor recreation play areas in connection with the facility, or there will be in connection with the facility to the rear of the rear exterior of the property. A 368 square foot play area is intended to be provided. There's also indoor play areas being provided, approximately 83 square feet. As per Section 51402, childcare facilities require 1 parking space per 200 gross floor area. At approximately 1,000 square feet, at least 5 parking spaces are required, and that's what's being reserved specifically for this bay. Fences will also be provided to enclose the outdoor recreation space. It is in keeping with the intent and purpose of the city's LDRs and is appropriate use for the area involved and will not be detrimental to the public welfare. In light of these findings, staff recommends that the BOA approve the requested special exception use to establish the proposed childcare facility on the subject property, subject to the conditions herein listed, and summarized as follows: that the school may have a maximum enrollment of 15 children only, based on the required classroom and recreation space given in Article 5, Division 1, Section 5105, and that a certificate of use from the Community Planning and Development Department be only issued upon compliance with the terms and conditions of this approval. The same subject to cancellation upon violation of any of these conditions listed herein.
Okay, Thank you. Mr. Jean?
Yes.
Okay, anything to add?
No, everything. I think everything.
Okay. All right, and I'll open up public hearing. Anyone for or against, you have anything to say? Speak now or forever hold your peace. All right, public hearing is closed. Board discussion?
I just have, I'm sorry.
No, go ahead.
Oh, please.
Ms. Fenelon?
Okay.
Ladies first?
I just had one question. Mr. Jean, my understanding is you already operate a daycare center in North Miami?
Yes.
Okay. How long have you been in operation at the present site?
It was 3 years.
Excuse me?
Oh, yeah, the present side?
The present site.
No, the present side, we just, therefore.
I'm sorry, the first site that
The
you
first
have.
site, 3
Yes, the
years.
one on
Yeah.
125th Street.
Yeah, 3 years.
3 years.
Yes.
How many children do you have in that site?
It was approved for 60, but we have 25. Was approved at that time.
Mr. McDermott?
I just have one question to staff. How does this work in context of the declaration of Seventh Avenue as the Chinatown?
I mean, it's within the area of the Chinatown district. However, it's an existing structure, so it's not something that would affect the daycare. It would be more of the property owner, and I'm not sure what the property owner intends to do as far as the building, the structure.
Okay, this is gonna be a lease, is it?
Yes.
How long is the lease?
5 years.
Pardon?
5 years.
5
5
years.
years?
Yes.
Okay. You're the expert.
Anyone
No,
else?
you are. I'm,
I have a
yeah.
couple of questions. Anyone else? Okay, Brittany, I've noticed that in the calculation, with the square footage, you were basing it on the 15 students, while you did note that the previous tenant or the person who was granted the variance was for, when they applied, they were licensed for 25. Now, who made the determination for the 15 with this applicant?
What made that determination was a new section of the code that was recently adopted in July. Those standards were picked up from the Miami-Dade County, whereas in the previous approval, those since those regulations were not in effect, we didn't have that in our code. I'm not sure what the previous staff had how they calculated that maximum capacity.
Because the reason why I asked, ultimately, their capacity will be determined by Department of Children and Families, because they will be the one licensing that center. Although North Miami may want 15, if the previous one was licensed for 25, most likely based on the square footage, DCF will come in and provide and give them a license for 25, not based on what North Miami would like.
What was based on the North Miami regulations as a 5105. So if they were to propose another number, I'm not sure.
Yeah, because with childcare, it is, the licensing department. I don't know. Our attorney, go ahead.
Well, it seems as if the city has adopted possibly a more restrictive standard, which would apply. They can always come back in if Children and Families says that they're allowed more, and we can take a look at the regulation and see whether it should be adjusted for some reason. But at this point, Brittany has probably stated the way the regulation is now in effect, and that is what would apply.
Okay. Anyone else? Thank you. Okay. Well, does anyone want to make?
Madam
Miss-
Chairman, I make a motion to approve.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. May I have a roll call, please?
Dana McGlure Fenlon,
I approve.
Mary Estime Irvin,
Yes.
Rosaline Philippe,
Yes.
Cassandra Thurman,
Yes.
Michael McDermott.
Yes.
Chair, you have a 5-0 approval of this item.
Thank you. Good luck, Mr. Jean. 15. All right, and our last case, which is V-03-17, Good Shepherd Academy, 14500 Northeast Sixth Avenue, Unit B. The applicant is present.
I'm Candy Morales. How are you?
Okay,
I'm the owner of GSA.
hang on a second. We'll wait for. Well, it's quite appropriate. It's all childcare tonight. You know? It's all childcare tonight.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
all right.
Hi, my name is Candy Morales. I'm the owner of GSA, and I'm allowing my consultant to speak.
Okay. We'll first hear from our staff, and then we'll,
Okay, well, Madam Chair, just for purposes of transparency,
thank you.
you and I had a conversation earlier and staff had approached me earlier and asked whether the chair would have a conflict in this matter because she has, she's a member of the board of another tenant at this location. And I had reviewed the matter as well as Ms. Warren had, and we both have concluded that there's no conflict, so she can fully participate. And we're just saying that for transparency purposes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, a special exception use pursuant to Article 4, Division 2, Section 4202 of the North Miami Code of Ordinances, Chapter 29, Land Development Regulations, to allow an educational facility at the property located at 14500 Northeast 6th Avenue in the R6 District. Said special exception to be reviewed under the criteria set forth in Article 3, Division 5, Section 3504 of the Land Development Regulations. The subject property comprises 18,265 square feet and is located on the northwest corner of Northeast 145th Street and Northeast 6th Avenue. It's been developed as a one-story, 11,400 square foot mixed-use residential building in connection with a 105,512 square foot residential building since 1970. The applicant, Ms. Candy Morales, has entered into a lease agreement with the property owner for approximately 2,100 square feet of educational space in order to establish an elementary and secondary school. The proposed educational facility is to operate from 9 a.m. to 3 o'clock p.m. Monday through Thursday and from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Fridays. In accordance with Article 4, Division 2, Section 4202, and criteria given within Article 5, Division 1, Section 5105 of the LDRs, the applicant has filed a special exception application in order to obtain approval from the BOA and to establish an educational facility use. A search of the city's zoning records show that there have been multiple zoning actions on the property. It was a satellite building for North Miami Elementary School. In 2005, a special exception for Sunshine Academy Charter School was approved. In 2006, a special exception for One World Learning Center was approved. 2007, special exception for J&D Owens Private School, also approved. In 2008, there was a variance to waive requirement for raised concrete curbing, which was denied. In 2011, there was a special exception for Robert Owens Daycare, which was approved. And 2011 as well, there was Early Step Learning Center, which was approved. The applicant intends to lease approximately 2,100 square feet of space in order to operate the elementary and secondary school, which pursuant to Article 4, Division 2, Section 4202 of the LDRs, requires a special exception approval by the BOA and must meet the criteria for educational facilities set forth in Article 5, Division 1, Section 5105. In evaluating the application for such request, the BOA shall find that the application demonstrates compliance with the following standards. The uses permitted chart provided in Article 4, Division 2, Section 4.2.2 of the LDR is listed educational facilities as a use that requiring special exception approval. The proposed use as an educational facility does not meet any traffic concurrency requirements as transportation concurrency, as the city is a transportation concurrency exception area. It has eliminated said requirements for development applications, but even without the establishment of the TCEA, which it's known for, as the proposed use will have low impact on traffic circulation on Northeast 145th Street during pickup and drop-off hours, and the school has 4 additional spaces available to alleviate for any stacking space. There is adequate parking for the educational facilities. 9 spaces have been reserved for this school and intends to only have 5 staff members. All educational facilities, such as the proposed school, are not uses prohibited within the LDRs. Rather, their uses deemed to be generally suitable for this location in this district and may be permitted on a case-by-case basis if after review and possible attachment of conditions pursuant to the procedures and criteria of Article 3, Division 5, Section 3504 of the LDRs. In light of the above findings, the requested special exception to establish the elementary school will clearly constitute an appropriate use for the area involved. It will be in harmony with the general appearance and character and will not result in the diminution of the value of any adjacent property. In evaluating an application for this use, the BOA shall find that the application also demonstrates compliance with the following standards for educational facilities. A detailed floor plan survey was submitted for analysis, and a total of approximately 940 square feet of floor space is being used as classrooms in total. 30 square feet is necessary for each child at the elementary school grade level. The facility proposes to have a maximum enrollment of 25 elementary students only. The school also wishes to accommodate secondary school level students. 25 square feet would be necessary for each student, which would allow the school to have an enrollment of 7 additional students. The minimum standards for outdoor recreation playground play areas are not established at this location. Based on subsection C of this section, 500 square feet would be required for each of the first 30 students permitted for enrollment, plus 300 square feet for each of the remaining students enrolled. As per the previous standard, 32 students would be permissible for the elementary school, and only 2 additional students would have to be accounted for the first 30, which would require 15,600 square feet playground and play area, none of which is being provided on-site but off-site to Oak Grove Park, located on the southeast corner of Northeast 6th Avenue and Northeast 159th Street, located in the unincorporated Miami-Dade area. Children will be transported to this location in the designated school vehicle. Auto stacking space is provided via additional parking space. The 5 parking spaces will be used for this purpose. Again, there were no recreational spaces in connection with the facility, but off-site. And as per section 5.14.02, elementary schools require 1 parking space per staff member, and based on the letter of intent, 4 staff members are proposed, 9 parking spaces are being reserved for this unit. The requested special exception used to establish the proposed educational facility conforms with the goals, objectives, and policies of the city's comprehensive plan and is in keeping with the intent and purpose of the city's LDRs. It is an appropriate use for the area involved and will not be detrimental to the public welfare, but in light of these findings, staff recommends that since the application was taken in before the adoption of these LDRs, which originally did not require outdoor playground areas, the BOA approved the requested special exception used to establish the proposed elementary and secondary educational facility with an off-site recreational area.
Thank you. Quite a mouthful. All right, and now you may introduce yourself. Name and address.
My name is Ossie. Let me spell it for you. Capital OSSIE, May, capital M-A-E, Conley, capital C-O-N-L-E-Y. So I'm spelling it because it's such a hard name and I don't want you to misspell it. But I'm here today as a consultant, and I've been a consultant for school and churches for the last 28 years. So when I got my young niece here and she's trying to start her school, I didn't know that the license stay with that property and person here in North Miami. So I came in to help if I could. Also, we had went and did our homework, and we thought we were knowledgeable of all the other schools that was approved at that site. Only thinking that we could just get our license for our school and continue on. And nevertheless, we found out from zoning, the rule here at North Miami. But anyway, we just wanted to add that we've been a friend to the school system, and we have a letter here from Department of Education, and what it reads, on January the 27, 2017, a GSA Academy School, Inc., 8069, attention Candy Morales, that's my niece, 140 500 Northeast 6th Avenue, Unit B, North Miami, Florida 33161. And it reads, GSA Academy School, Inc., 8069. Dear private school administrator, the Office of Independent Education, potentially choice has received your compliance paperwork for 2017-2018 school term. The documentation has been reviewed. The paperwork attests to fact that they are maintaining compliance with the required governing the state scholarship program McKay, Florida tax credit, and our personal learning scholarship accounts, and 1002.42 Florida statute relates to the private school. Your corporation is greatly appreciated, and we look forward to working with you. We strive to increase in quality and improvement the quality of education and opinion of Florida students. So we saying, you know, the state is recommending that, you know, we ready to be up and running. We have a provision license now because they're giving us chance to come here in front of you all tonight to rectify the process of reopening the school.
Okay, thank you. I'll open, excuse me, public hearing. Anyone for or against? Anyone who have something to say relating to this application? Don't be shy. Now is your opportunity to speak for or against. You gotta come to the mic
Got to give your name
and state your name, and I don't think you were sworn in.
Ma'am, use the microphone.
Yes,
You know,
you
I
do.
just want to say I recommend the school. My
Yeah,
name is
hold on.
Sharon Donald, and I'm a consultant. So, you know, I recommend that you
Are you-
approve it.
Are you paid by the applicant to aid in the application?
No,
And how are you a consultant?
well, I'm a consultant, but I'm given
She's
bono.
a consultant for them.
Pro bono.
Oh, okay.
You know, they're not getting paid.
Okay, raise
you
your
know.
right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth in this proceeding?
Yes.
Thank you.
I want to add, I'm pro bono too, just my niece. Pro bono, pro bono.
Anyone else? I saw somebody back there. Anyone? She's just pushing him up.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Even though
State your name and address,
Oh.
please.
my name is Gary Francois and I live in North Miami, 13280 and 6th Avenue, apartment 204. Even though I did not have a prior deposition, but I'm here because I have a concern. And my concern is like,
Sir, were you sworn before?
Yes, he
yes,
was.
yes.
Yeah, he was.
My concern is with the building on 14509 North 6th Avenue, and there is a childcare. It's not even childcare. A GSA Academy, a K to 12.
That's them.
Oh, that's them.
Yes.
So when they cook, because my child attending school next door, when they cook, it's like the smell of the food. I don't know if this. I don't know. I don't want to accuse, but you know, when I come to pick up my child, the smell of the food, you know, it crosses the other, you know, the other side, you know, the other school. So the kids, so, you know, they sneeze. So for reason of safety, so that's why, you know, I bring that to the table.
May I?
Okay.
We,
Ms. Morales?
I'm sorry. We don't cook. We don't even have a stove. I'm sorry. We don't even have a stove. And for the summer, our lunch was catered through the village in the greater of Miami.
Okay.
But
Okay, thank you.
But where is the smell come from? And also there is always a problem in the parking lot with the, you know, in the morning and in the.
I hear you, but I guess the applicant answered. They said they don't cook. I have a question. We're in public hearing, so maybe my question may answer your concern
Okay.
down the road, okay?
All right.
All right. I see a hand back there. Young lady, did you want to say something? I saw you raise your hand. Okay, thank you. Anyone else? Okay, public hearing is closed. Board discussion.
Madam Chair, may I ask a question?
Yes.
So, there's no condition imposing a cap on the number of students. Is that something that we should consider, or?
Yeah, we can consider the cap based on the square footage as we did for the childcare facility.
Right. So is it 25 students, or there seems to be some additional
Miscalculation somewhere.
for secondary? It's on page 5 on the classroom size paragraph.
So 25 plus a 7. I think the maximum was supposed to be 32.
Right, but it's 25 elementary, and they could have 7
7
secondary.
for secondary, yes.
It would be less if there were more elementary, I suppose.
Right.
Right.
But so
So, what do you recommend?
I mean, this was based off of the discussion and based off of the official calculation sheet that was submitted, that was finalized and submitted to staff.
Right.
That was per this attachment.
Okay.
The attachment of the
Are you referring to this?
calculate the classroom space, yes.
Okay, so 25 elementary school students and
7
and
secondary,
7 secondary school students,
yes.
or some lesser number of secondary school students. I mean, if there were only elementary school students, is the number
would
be-
change, yeah.
would be more.
Yes. But the secondary would be less.
Yes. Do you plan on any secondary students, or is it only elementary?
But, I'm sorry. Mr. LeBron?
Nixon LeBron, city planner. These numbers are based on what the applicant asked on the application. I think if we have to make a condition, it has to be based on what they apply and what the site can accommodate.
Right.
So,
Well, I only bring it up because it seems like there should be a condition.
Yeah.
yeah.
And
I agree.
obviously, it's in the discretion of the board, but there are standards, and the way to hold them to the standard is to impose a condition.
And
Right.
in doing the calculation, keep in mind, yes, we have licensing that deals with 0 to 5, but when you're dealing with elementary school children, similar, if they're mixed ages, you really have to, because they're not adults, This won't be a meeting, this will be classrooms and spaces for them to move. So with mixed ages, you have to take in consideration the youngest age. That will be your guide, or should be your guide.
If it's elementary only, it looks like 31
Right.
students would be permitted. And then, I don't know how you fit in the secondary, but
You wouldn't be able to, should they have only elementary school students.
it's like 2 for 1 or something, or, I mean, you should just come up with some formula. It's a maximum of 31 elementary school students and less if they want to add any secondary.
Well, what does the
It should
school
be
board
subject to
provide?
the review and approval of staff or something like that to modify the condition, to come up with the correct number.
I'm okay with that. I believe the applicant has already proffered that she's only looking at elementary anyway.
Yeah, I don't know, I didn't understand the secondary part.
So,
So the recommendation, at least for me and staff can confirm, would be a maximum number of 31 elementary school students would be permitted at the school. And if they wanted to add secondary students, they would have to discuss with staff the appropriate number based upon the square footage.
And then this decision is solely guided by square footage and
Correct.
not anything, whether,
Correct.
what does the school district provide or anything like that?
No.
Okay. Okay. Any other discussion? Well, the board really didn't start. Mr. McDermott, do you have a puzzled look?
No, I just agree with council.
Okay.
You know, I was, you know, I think that it's a potentially good project. And it was just a studied look. I was studying what council was coming up with. It was-
Okay.
That was like being a student in class trying to study the professor.
Okay. Ms. Simi Irvin? Ms. Fenelon?
Not really. I mean, this site, I'm very familiar with this site, because it's very close to where I live, and it's always been a school there, so,
Yeah.
I don't really have any I don't have any objection of it continuing to be a school. I know there is a, apartment building behind it, and if none of those, we don't have any of the residents from that apartment building who, to me, if I lived there, maybe
There's
I might
already
have
a-
an issue.
There's
But-
already a school operating.
There's a school
Yeah,
operating.
so
there. So
they would be the
this was
second educational institution in there.
in that same space.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so that's what my understanding is, that there's always been, and from my recollection, there's always been some kind of educational facility there. So I don't see any reason why we could not continue to allow an exception.
Okay.
I'd like to make a motion.
I just wanted to follow up, because I see on the plan there is GSA Cafe, although you say you do not cook, and they do, you cater. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
And I think the gentleman says that he smell food and so on and so forth. So that's my only concern, because in the facility, you have to understand, safety is number one for our children. So if you're not properly equipped to cook, then you're putting everyone else at risk. Not just the children in your facility, but the children in the other facility. So that's why microwave, you know, even those type of things, you have to be very careful. Myself, I try to unplug my toaster oven when I leave the house, because you never know what can happen. So we really have to keep children's safety in mind.
Can I say something? Okay, and the reason why it says GSA Cafe is to give the kids a theme.
Yeah, of
You know, when they go and eat their own lunch, it's just to give them a theme. Yes, the wall does say that, but again, it's just paint on the wall. No one's cooking, there's no stove.
Would that be another condition?
That could be the attorney. Gary,
As with all,
could that be another condition
What, I'm sorry.
to assure that no cooking is done on the
restrictions on
premises?
cooking on site, can that be an added condition to the special exception?
Being that there's really no kitchen per se?
It's within the discretion of the board.
Well, what is your feeling, council?
Well, if there's no cooking facility on site, then there shouldn't be.
There
any
shouldn't be
cooking.
cooking.
And so there shouldn't be any temporary thing that's not approved by the health department or something like that.
So we could put it as another condition that, you
Yeah.
know,
Yes. So if I need to go back at some point, staff has had discussion, and their feeling on the number of students is they should be, there should be a condition that limits them to what they asked for, which is 25 elementary school
25.
students and 7 secondary school students. And if they want to adjust that, they need to come back to the board.
Okay.
That's fine.
And so you're okay with, I mean,
okay with that.
I'm okay with your condition on cooking. And we also should have a discussion on off-site recreation. Which, it seems.
Is it in our purview?
It definitely is within your purview.
Okay.
Because it's an existing regulation, and staff has determined since they applied before that, that they wouldn't impose that requirement on this facility. But I think because it's off-site, you may want to impose a condition, and this is off the top of my head, I've not discussed it with staff, that some operating,
agreement? Some operating agreement?
operating statement be given to staff that explains and commits to providing the outdoor recreation. Since it is an existing requirement, so your concession is allowing them to do it off-site, but they should state how many students have taken to the park, when, how many times a week, so at least you have an understanding.
And
that would be
does
used.
that make North Miami liable? Because if they are, and we authorize that they are able to take children off-site, and given, you know, what unfortunate things that we've read that have occurred with children and what have you, does that put the city?
Madam Chairman?
Yeah.
If following what you're thinking is, basically, where they're gonna be having the off-site is basically a third party to this, if I'm not, they're where you have.
No.
the- let you-
No.
So, well, yeah, I mean, if there's gonna be possible liability where they have the off-site, then wherever that off-site is, and you said Oak Grove Park?
Well, I'm just, and I'd like to stick to what the application is for. Now, in terms of, you know, how they deal with their recreation, what I'm saying is if we're gonna start putting stipulation, then I think we, the city, is starting to look as if we're like a partner in this. So if anything happens, then the city is liable. So I think we should take their application at face value and authorize what it is that they requested.
Well, no, what I'm saying is that part of their application is they're gonna provide off-site recreation at a certain facility. Are we sure that that off-site facility is gonna allow it the days and times that they wanna use it?
It's a public park, which is open, and it's up to the applicant to decide whether or not they will hire a third-party transportation, or will they provide their own, do they have a bus that's attached to their business, which brings a whole other thing, because then they will have their own liability insurance to carry for that.
Right.
So,
Madam Chair, so in my mind, this is like field trips. I mean, we're not regulating field trips. They're gonna be
That's what I was
making
gonna
field
say.
trips.
Is that within the
scope of this committee?
No.
okay, so that's
Because I
why I
feel like
don't
we're
want
getting
us to
away
get into
from away.
don't put the words where it sound as if we're regulating when
Right.
It's not
The only
us.
thing that I was suggesting was that there be some commitment that they actually provide the recreation.
Okay.
You know that if it was on-site, it would be provided. And some commitment, whatever their operation is going to be, and you're not dictating what it should be. But the current code requires recreation acreage or facility. And I think it just makes sense to have them tell the city how they're going to implement that off-site component.
So that would be another condition?
Yes, that within a certain period of time.
Provide a
it could be
schedule.
30 days, they provide an operating statement on how they intend to implement the off-site recreation.
Okay. Madam Chairman?
Yes, sir.
With those conditions in mind that have been suggested, I guess everybody's approved, I move approval.
Been moved by Mr. McDermott. Do I have a second?
I'll second it.
It's been seconded by Ms. Fenelon.
Right, before you vote,
Yes.
I would ask the applicant to confirm that you acknowledge the conditions, understand and accept them.
We accept,
Thank you.
and we're glad to accept.
Okay. Roll call vote.
Dana McGlure Fenelon,
We're gonna help you.
I approve.
Mary Estimine Irvin,
Yes.
Rosaline Philippe,
Yes.
Cassandra Thurman,
You got it. Yes.
Michael McDermott.
Yes.
Madam Chair, you have a 5-0 approval on this item.
Thank you.
And thank
All right.
All right.
Good
Thank
luck.
you.
Good luck, good luck.
No cooking.
No cooking, that's right.
So the three things were the 25 and 7, no cooking, and the operating statement for,
All right.
yeah.
Do we have any old business? Old business? New business?
I have one point of new business.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to welcome the new members to the board.
One new member.
Thank you.
Cassandra.
Yes, Cassandra.
Yes. And it will soon, the name will soon change to
Cassandra.
Cassandra Arnold. So,
Oh, that would help him.
that was soon, there you go, that would be easy for you. So no more theremin, so just got off from a honeymoon. Just got off from a honeymoon.
What, no hyphen?
No hyphen, it's gonna be Cassandra Arnold.
Let me tell you, if I would give advice, I would say maintain the name.
Oh, well, the husband
Okay.
is back there.
It's okay. Maintain the name. Okay. All right. Anything else?
That's not business, that's none of your business.
Okay, so if nothing else, motion to, motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, all in favor? Aye. Thank you.